Hey, I'm Matt McKenzie, and today I'm going to go over setting up a point-to-site VPN on Azure. So first things first, I went in, I created a resource group for the core network called Bitcore RG. Inside there, I went ahead and set up a VNet called Bitcore VNet. Set it up for 10.0.0/16. It's where I'd put my my VMs and other resources. I carved out a subnet for it and call it bitmain subnet, um, just as a /24. Um, and then I went in and set up an Azure virtual network gateway, um, and we'll go over how to set that up too. But it needed its own subnet. I probably should have set it as a /27 because I really don't need that big of a space. But I set it for a /24, just went with the default. So what we'll do then to go over setting it up is we'll go in the search bar, type in Azure Virtual Network Gateways, and then you'd say add. And what it'll do is ask you your resource, give it a name. All my stuff's at least in the US East data center. Choose VPN and route based. You'll want to choose the SKU for at least VPN Gateway 1. The basic is just really for minor testing. You can't even use, I think, the OpenVPN on it. And then virtual network, you'll give it your VNet that you set up initially. Um, Obviously, ours is already in use because we've already got one. And then you'll create a new public IP address for your VNet gateway. Um, if you don't already have a static sitting around. I had an existing when I set up the last one, but we're not going to obviously create this. You go next on tags. We don't have any tags. And then you could provision it. We're not going to provision it because we already created it to save time. It does take about maybe 30, 40 minutes. Depends on if you do it in the middle of the day or if you're doing it at like midnight. Um, and so we've already got ours set up to save on some time. There's your public IP address for the VNG. And so then you can see in here, hey, virtual network gateway, all the settings. Here's your public IP address. We would go into point to site configuration and set up your address pool. I set up one outside of the subnet that we're currently using. We're using 10.0.0/16 with a 10.0.0/24 subnet for the regular LAN and a .1 for the gateway on what you call it, the VNG itself. So we set it for an open VPN SSL. We chose Azure Active Directory. You'll go in and grab your tenant ID out of Azure Active Directory. If you go here and go to Properties, you can get that ID. The audience is all the same. The issuer is this first part of the URL with your tenant ID. Make sure you put a slash at the end because it doesn't like it if you don't. And then you'll have to grant administrator consent for the Azure VPN client. We can try right now, see if it opens up. It probably won't because we've already accepted it. And so once you do that, you'll hit save, and then you'll download the VPN client. We've already done that. So once you go in, you can go over to import. Actually, I guess here, the first thing really we want to do is go over to the Windows 10 App Store and do Azure VPN. And you'll see Azure VPN Client. And you'll want to choose Install. Obviously, I've already got it installed. So once you've got it installed, go down to the plus, go to Import, and then you'll choose under your downloads, and you'll choose Azure VPN and Azure VPN, and click Save. Okay, and so we've got it. We'll go ahead and go connect. And it'll show we're connected, and it'll show our routes, which will show the VNet with a /16, and then our VPN client subnet. And here we are, we're actually .3. And so that basically is it for the client. And then if you have a VM, you can remote desktop to it. If you've got the firewall set up, you can ping it if you've got the firewall set up. If you want to make this an always-on connection, you can go in and let's refresh. Go over to VPN, and then now you see you've got it connected. Say if we disconnect, got it where you can automatically connect, and that's pretty much it on the Azure VPN. Use an Azure Active Directory. Thanks for watching.